Alrighty, everyone. Welcome back to Automotive Anatomy. Today I have Clint. Mr. Clint,
hey,
thank you so much, man.
Thanks for inviting me, man.
No, thank you for making some time for us. And this is gonna be fun. We're gonna be learning about this car that there's a lot of stuff I don't know. And so thank you for making it time for us. So, man, tell us, man, what do you drive?
It's a 2006 Lotus Elise NA. Had it ever since. It's been with me ever since. Original owner. Why I chose this car is because it's the car that growing up, for any track enthusiasts, you always hear about how light they are, how well they handle. They were never legalized in America until 2005, I believe. But I got to 2006 because in 2005 there were a lot of options that didn't come on that car, where it came standard on a 2006, for example, like LED tail lights.
Okay.
It was offering sport package, which for any Lotus guys will know, the sport package has dual oil coolers.
Ooh.
Yeah, whereas the base didn't have it. So that's why I chose it. It's just a car I've always wanted to track. So I got the car. I still remember, I think it was only a week or two after we got it. First thing I did was broke it in at the track.
That's so smart.
Yeah. You know what? But hey, they say to properly break in a car is to drive it hard.
There you go. There you go. Tell us a little bit about the background in the car world. What cars have you owned? How did you get started into cars?
Always been a car guy. Family's into cars. My dad got me into cars. He's still into cars even till this day. But me, I've always been a Honda guy. I still am a Honda guy. Though I don't have any right now, I probably will get another one. I am thinking about building a front-wheel drive track car again. It's going to be something I haven't had. So the only thing I haven't had or experience with is probably a DC5. Another car that kind of like the Lotus is doesn't get a lot of attention. So I might build that car, but it all depends on time. Got wife and kids now, so everything's a little harder. It is in the future plans. In terms of what cars I've had, I had GSRs, I had a Type R, I had a 240 SX with the SR20, I had a Subaru WX, GC8 for the car guys. I played with all of them, slowly got rid of them one by one just because priorities came in and it was too many projects to have at once, so I got rid of everything.
And is there such thing? No, there's no such thing.
And I kept the main project.
You kept the main.
Yeah.
So tell us, what is one thing that you don't like about the Lotus?
Impracticality. Right now, for example, I've always tracked, I've kept everything that came with the car intact, but I've recently only removed the AC just because it stopped working. I honestly wish I took it out longer because even when it was working, it was the worst AC system ever. It barely blew cold. But recently it finally gave up, so I took the compressor out. Maybe I'll put it back in. Oh, I lied, I'm not gonna put it back in. I'll probably slowly working on removing all the lines and everything that's associated with AC system to shed some more weight. But to answer your questions, it's very impractical. That's why I think it's perfect as a track car, not as a daily driver or anything like that.
Speaking of weight, how much is weight?
It was about 2,050 corner balance with me in it. Oh no, I'm sorry, without me in it, with half a tank of gas. With me in it, it's about 2,200 pounds. Again, it's a Lotus Elise, guys, but I do have a Siege front end because the Siege front is slightly wider. So it allowed me to experiment with different wheels offset and width throughout the years. This is, I think, my fourth set of wheels that I've experimented with. The one that follows me on Instagram realized that the green TEs are quite new. Before that was the black TEs. 225 tires in the front, which went further out, quite flush with the fender. These Nankangs came out that I really wanted to try. It didn't come in the size I wanted, so I experimented with a more narrow setup, which surprisingly, I'm still debating between the two, which setup to stick with, but it's still good. But so it's a Siege front end, APR front splitter, APR canards, TE37 Sonics, racing green with Nankang or AR1 tires.
And what are the wheel specs on this?
The wheels are 15x7, 25 offset.
All right, Clint, so what made you go with the dark green wheels?
It's a funny story actually. My wife and my closest friends always, Clint, you're so black and white, so plain. You got to add some color into your life. So I showed it on the car.
So where did you get these wheels from? Tell me, what was the idea behind it?
So again, I've had the black TEs before. I always loved the way the Sonics look on the car. So when I found out that I was able to get in racing green, which actually leads me to giving them a shout out as well. Mackin Industry, I went to them. They helped me get the wheels. They've always come through whenever I needed wheels. So that's how I got it from them. And why I went with TEs is I'm a TE guy, there's many options I could get out there, but for for, I would say, aesthetically and performance-wise, you can't go wrong with the TE, so that's why I went with them. Rotors are DBA two-piece floating rotors. Calipers are stock. Brake pads is Project MU Club Racers. And you can't see it, but there is stainless steel brake lines behind all of that.
What kind of suspension?
The suspension is Nitron GT3 triples. So triple adjustable, custom valving to cope or to work in balance with the additional aerodynamic grip that is on the car.
Wow.
Yeah, so there is custom valving
There's some
on
science to this.
Yeah.
How hard is it to find parts for this car, or all these custom pieces?
No, I wouldn't say they're difficult to get. APR actually helped me with my aerodynamic setup in terms of the splitter, canards, and the wing in the back. The Lotus, a lot of guys don't know it, but the Lotus came factory with a full flat bottom. So that was already,
wow.
Yeah, so by doing all of this, only enhance the aerodynamic grip even further. The only thing APR, that's not APR in terms of aerodynamics on the car is the side rocker panel and the diffuser. These is from Greg's Race Part, or GRP. Mm-hmm. The reason why I chose them is because a lot of other cars have these things, but they don't extend this far out. And I wanted something squared and further out because, again, like you see, everything I do on the car is purposeful, function. Yeah, function over form. The diffuser in the back is Diflow, 5-element, and as a whole package, I mean, if anyone gets to drive it, it literally feels like a suction cup above 60 miles per hour.
Alrighty, man. So I think it feels like I'm going to this aircraft kind of cockpit. What do you got going on in the interior, man?
So Lotus doesn't come with a cup holder. Well, it does, but even the one that it comes with sucks, so I have that. But my steering wheel is a personal steering wheel, quick release. I have an AIM MXS Strata dash. I only got the dash because the stock gauge gave up. So I needed one like real quick, and you might as well upgrade. So I upgraded to the AIM Strata dash. My seat is a Recaro SPG fixed position, so this does not slide forward, backwards, up, down, anything. It's for you now. It's for me or someone literally my size. Yeah, not much on the interior really.
Shoulder throw shifter, or is it still the?
It's actually a stock shifter with a reinforcement at the base to make it more stable.
Right.
Because I mean, Lotus guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. For tracking the car, the stock Lotus shift assembly sucks.
Okay.
It wobbles, it moves under load, it shifts out of position, sometimes you can miss gears and things like that. Oh, wow. So I got the reinforcement kit just to make it stable. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh. The quick release, it was actually off my 240 back in the day. Funny enough is I kept that one just because of the few that I experimented with. It's the only one that once fully attached and me sitting in it, it's like the perfect position. Okay. For me, yeah, for me. So that's why I went with this one. And plus, it's actually really hard to get in and out of the car. As you can see, it's quite tight. So having the ability to take out the steering wheel does help quite a bit to get in and out. Yeah.
Wow. This is trippy. All right. So a D series, right? All right. So tell us a little bit about the motor, man. What do we have going on?
So the motor is still the original one from day one. It's a Toyota Celica 2ZZ motor. Obviously, just slightly retuned by a Lotus from the factory. I have no modification to the engine at all. It's completely stock. The only modifications are typical intake, headers, and exhaust. My header is ITG, it's a European company, RNT carbon induction box. My header, you can see, is a PPE exhaust manifold with a burns collector at the tip. A custom test pipe, which is like a straight pipe. And my exhaust, which you can't see down there, you can actually see quite a bit of everything down here. There's a custom tubular, which is a tubular exhaust system. It's 2.5 straight through. Yeah, you can see my suspension external reservoirs right there.
How much power? What kind of is that? Obviously a 4-banger, you said.
Yeah.
NA. Is there more power in the making for you? Boosted, supercharged? I don't know. Maybe just a build motor. What do you have going on for the motor itself?
So there is future plans. If I was to ever go with any form of forced induction, I probably would go with the turbo route, just because turbo technology nowadays is just so good.
When the hell would it fit?
It will. There's actually kits out there already that makes both supercharger kits and turbocharger kits for this car.
Okay.
Obviously, you gotta do like custom intercooler position and things like that, fuel work. But it is in the plans. But I would probably have to be honest and tell you that it's one of the last things on my mind still, just because future plans for this car still would be even more drive chassis dynamic stuff, like spherical bearings, maybe more aerodynamic stuff that I wanna do on the front end. So although power is always in the list, is probably on the lower end of that list for me. Yeah, just because I want to outdrive the car fully before adding more power.
Right. Which you're almost there though, right? You say you pretty much have a pretty good handle about this car.
Yeah.
But you still want to add more stuff and get better.
Yeah, I still want to extract everything I can without relying on power. It's kind of like how I feel about it. Again, for example, suspension, even though it drives nice and is good, I'm still learning them. So I think that with even further adjustment and maybe some further aerodynamics and things like that, I could probably still gain some tension here and there.
Yeah.
So still.
Do you drive this car to the track?
I do.
Track it and drive back home?
I do since... all the time that this car's been to the tracks was driven there and driven back.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, transmission. Sorry about that, guys. Transmission is a stock transmission, but I recently upgraded to Quaife ATB LSD, just because stock it didn't come with any, and I only upgraded just because the transmission is out for clutch. So I changed. They might as well type of thing. So I changed to ACT street clutch, ASCO lightweight flywheel, and again the Quaife ATB LSD.
All right, Clint. So are we gonna open the pretty much the trunk, right? This is the trunk.
Well, there's pretty much nothing to open besides these two access panel.
Okay.
One side is for like the fuse box and stuff like that. The other side is the brake fluid reservoir, master cylinder, and stuff like that. Other than that, this is all one piece. So again, another thing about this car, actually I should answer that the first time. Working on this car is a pain. Everything you do is in a very tight access, it gives you tight access. It's difficult. For example, look, as the radiator is right here. So as you can imagine, you want to do any radiator work, this thing has to come off. It's a little difficult to work on, but
buy an English car.
Yeah,
it'll be fun, they said, right?
Yeah, but the good thing is that it's been so reliable that luckily I didn't ever rarely had to take it off. So.
All right, Clint. So tell us, what are the future plans and any shout outs for these builds?
Future plans is definitely probably more aerodynamic work and suspension work. I'm still trying to find someone that can help me. I really want to cover this gap of the tire that is exposed to reduce more drag. I'm not good at bodywork, so that's why I would not attempt that myself. But yeah, I do want to figure out something for that. Suspension wise, I want to get upgraded bushings, like spherical bearings maybe, or spherical bushings. Just things to increase the feel of the car even further. The rawness of the car. I like driving a car that's raw. There's no traction control, there's no electronic driver aids. It's just you in the car. So I'm all about feel. So anything that would increase feel will probably be part of my future plans. Again, the car is not the fastest out there. I'm not sure if I mentioned before, but it only has like about 175 horsepower. Even more worse than that, it only has about 125 foot-pounds of torque. So not a lot, but it's a joy to drive. I still enjoy this car every time I take out to the tracks. Still learning, as it should be. Always learning. So yeah, those are the future plans. Power again, it's always that's in anybody's plan, but for mine, it's probably on the bottom of the list. Shout out for sure, Star Smog and Alignment House, APR, Art Compound, and Evasive. Those Evasive Motorsports, they've always come through for me whenever I need it, so shout out to them. and my wife for letting me do this. Do this craziness that I do. One last thing to add to the shout out is to actually thank Lotus for finally bringing this over to the States when they did. You know, it gave me the opportunity to own one, and it goes a long way because it's the car that even to this day I think is the last car any track guy thinks about. You know, whenever I go to the tracks, it's usually I'm like the only guy with a Lotus and maybe another one. There's never many, so hopefully people will see that from this video, from all that I said about the car, you know, how reliable it is and things like that. People will give them a try, give Lotus a try, you know, because again, it's the last car that anyone ever thinks about when it comes to building a track car. Is always S2000, you know, E36 M3, E46 M3s, Porsches, things like that. But the car is right up there with them, you know. You just gotta be down to give it a shot.
Just be down to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Not be so intimidating.
Yeah, it's not intimidating at all, you know. I met, because of this car, I met a lot of other Lotus owners that are now tracking the car because, you know, I told them, like, you know, don't be scared, just do it. The car's reliable, take it out there, have fun, that's what it's for, you know. I would feel saddened to see a Lotus that was just garage kept, you know. So I think, as you can see, it's not the cleanest of the Lotus, maybe.
We love that for that reason.
There's debris, marks are over the place, you know, but it gets driven hard.
Nice, man. Well, Mr. Clint, thank you so much, man.
Anytime, thank you.
Seriously. Well, can't wait for the future plans. And man, please bring it out more often. We need more of these cars.
Will do.
And we need more people like you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Anytime, thank you. Of the car even further, because that's I find most enjoyment out of that. You know, how the car feels.
I know a place is super quiet. Like seriously, you can hear the coin drop.
I never forgot. I forgot about the train, man.
Stop recording so that way I get more views if you get pulled over.